Hello, hello, hello. This is Tamika Peters, President and CEO of Grow Your Nonprofit, where we help startups, small and stagnant nonprofits grow through fundraising strategies, strategic planning, and so much more. Guys, today you're in for a treat. I have my special guests here, Jasmine and Kule. They have been interning with AHVED as well as Santé Plus Medical Center, one of my clients right here in the beautiful Fort Myers. They'll tell you all about their experience volunteering, how it's changed their lives, and the impact volunteers make on the world for nonprofits worldwide. But before we get started, I'd like to thank the sponsors of my podcast. Hodges University with a campus in Fort Myers. Stay near, go far. They change lives for the better. Trinity Life Foundation Naples, helping at-risk youth through their enrichment program. AHVED. That stands for the Associations of Haitians Living Abroad. They just opened an amazing support center right here in the beautiful Fort Myers, where they help you with immigration support, utility billing, back-to-school supplies, and food insecurity. Last but not least, VaxTruth. They just received a grant from the CDC to raise awareness of COVID-19 and vaccine resources in the Black and Brown communities. So, guys, like I said, I have my special guests here, Jasmine and Kule. How are you doing, guys?
Good. I'm pretty good.
Good. So let's start with you telling us a little bit about yourself with your first name only, and then we'll go right into the interview to learn more about why you decided to volunteer and the impact it's made in your lives. So we'll start with Kule. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what school you go to, and what do you want to be when you finish high school?
My name is Kule. I'm a sophomore at Ida Baker High School. And after high school, I do want to go to college, but like in the future, I do plan on being a neonatalist, which is a doctor that works in a NICU with babies.
Oh, that's amazing. That's great. That's very important to have someone to specialize in babies because they're our future. That's very important. Jasmine, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jasmine. I'm a senior at Ida Baker, and after high school, I want to go to college and become a travel nurse practitioner.
Okay, very good, very good. So we want to give back. Seems like we want to go in the medical field, and I know that's why you guys wanted to volunteer at Santé Plus Medical Center. But you guys didn't know that you were going to get a lot for your money, right? Not only Santé Plus Medical Center, but also AHVED. So you guys were able to experience both. So I know we had an interview a few weeks ago at Radio Evolution Enter where we talked about the back to school event for AHVED, and that initially you started off because you wanted to get your Florida Bright Futures hours for college credits. However, it was more than that. Jasmine, can you tell me what was more about it than you didn't think it would be?
Initially, when she brought up being like going to work and with like the business side of everything, I thought, oh, it's just gonna be like paperwork and maybe phone calls, which it was, but there was also marketing and getting to know people and learning more about my own community and people around us and how much more we can help. It was beneficial to me as a character, but also to the people I'm surrounded by.
That's really cool. How about you, Kule?
I think it kind of just like I saw another side of like businesses because I'm so used to being like the customer or the patient to like being behind the scenes and like getting to work with people who are not very like upfront, but like who are really helping grow the business and keeping everything in check was really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, you guys are Gen Zs. What is your perception when you talk to your friends and then thinking about your experience of volunteering? What is your perception of nonprofits and giving back to your community? Anyone?
Can you elaborate the question?
Yeah.
Well, when I mean giving back, like if you talk to your other friends, if they're also doing volunteer hours for Florida Bright Futures, or if they volunteer, whether it's in their church or a food bank or another nonprofit, what are your generation? How do you guys feel about volunteering? Do you feel like it's important? Do you feel like you're making a difference? Do you like it? You don't like it? What do you guys talk about in your group about when it comes to volunteering and philanthropy?
I love volunteering. Yeah. I love being able to like come back and help in my community and without the cost. I think the only problem I have is waking up in the morning. I am not a morning person. I am fighting everything in me to wake up in the morning. But I love giving back, and usually my friend group likes giving back too and helping out, because it's not just for us. And I know, like, initially it was for Bright Futures, but I'm glad I got to volunteer with something that was more than, like, the small things.
Right.
I got to see a foundation.
What do you mean about you got to see a foundation? What does that mean?
A foundation, I didn't get to see just the basis of Santa Plus. I got to see where it starts off. I got to see how marketing plans and business plans work. I got to help make PowerPoints for other businesses to see and help out, and plan events to help raise money. And it was just different.
Wow, interesting. Kule?
I don't know what to say after that. That was really good. But I think there's like also like the 50-50. Like, I like volunteering, I like giving back, and volunteering at AHVED and Santa Plus is really cool. But I think there's also like some part of like the Gen Z generation where like volunteering is not really something that like they're like really hyped to do, which is why I think there should be like spread more awareness that like volunteering is like a really fun thing to do and to give back to the community.
You make a good point. So what could, I guess, businesses or nonprofits do to attract and retain the Gen Zs to make them interested in volunteering? Is it that you just don't know about it? Or when you think about volunteering, it sounds boring? Like, why are you guys not interested in it?
I think it's mostly because it's not something like everyone goes to first, because most like teenagers are like, oh, like as soon as I turn 16, get a job.
Right.
So like volunteering isn't always like the first thing that comes to mind.
Interesting. So it sounds like we need to do a better job. When I say we, the nonprofit world and the business world need to do a better job of raising awareness of the importance of volunteering, how fun it can be, and how liberating it can feel to actually, you see that what you're doing make a difference. So, for example, leading up to the back to school fest for AHVED, you worked on the layout for the event, the kids zone, marketing, and helping to put it together. But then the day of the event, you saw that your work became a reality. How did that feel to see that your work came into fruition after what you did behind the scenes?
It was really cool because like it's like seeing everything visually like come to life, like after like spending like days like setting everything up, and like I remember we spent like days outside like trying to figure out where everything would go. But I think just seeing it all come together and then seeing all the community have fun and come out and like enjoy like all the things we were giving, it was really fun. It was really cool.
What do you think, Jasmine?
It was really exciting and not overwhelming, but it was like such a warm feeling. Not just because it was hot in Florida. It was really hot. But it was really exciting and just like a really nice feeling to have. Seeing like all my hard work, our hard work, all our dedication, all the little details we put in actually made an impact. I heard a lot of thank yous and, oh my gosh, this is so great. You're doing so great. This is such an amazing event. It was just so nice to hear people enjoy just us giving back.
That's great. That's great. I'm really happy to hear that, because you guys are the next generation. I know all of adults who are quote unquote old to you guys. You guys are going to be taking care of us in the next, I would say maybe I probably got at least another good 30 plus years. But being a nurse practitioner, being a doctor, right? Yeah. Working with babies, maybe you'll help my grandchildren. I don't have any grandchildren yet, but that's very important, because life is not always about money. Life is really about passion. When you're younger, of course, you want the money, but as you know, it's not really how much you make, it's what you do with what you make. And I know in my life, I've had an amazing career. I've done so many different things in my life. And for me, at this phase of my life, I feel very fortunate that I get to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I'm passionate about it. And the clients that I work with, they make an impact in the community. So I have the clients for such as Santé Plus, but I also have a client who has a medical clinic who deals specifically with HIV patients. Then I have another client that deals with people with vitiligo. I don't know if you ever heard of vitiligo. It's when you lose your pigmentation and you have the bright spots all over your body. So I feel really cool that I get to work with organizations who don't understand the nonprofit business, and I could come in and help them raise money and get them on their way to be successful, so that in turn they can help people who they help in their mission. So that's really important. So it's always important to love what you're doing, because if you love what you're doing, it wouldn't be like a big deal to wake up in the morning, or a big deal if you have to work long hours, because, it's so fun. And that's what life is all about. So with that said, what would you say to your Gen Z colleagues to encourage them to volunteer in the community?
I would tell them to know themselves and know their surroundings, because being able to connect your own passions to what the world needs, it can become very impactful for not just yourself but everything around you. Like, I was very excited to work in the clinic because it would be beneficial to me, and I get to see like other people I'd get to help in the future. Mm-hmm. And then working with AHVED, I got to give back to my own culture. Mm-hmm. And those are two things that I am very passionate about, which is why I was so excited to volunteer and get into even the business parts, even though business is a little stressful. It's a little stressful, but I loved doing it all just because I knew what I was doing it for.
Mm-hmm. Very important. Kule?
Yeah, I think a lot of people in the Gen Z generation, like volunteering and like being a part of a community and being able to depend on people and make new friends is not something a lot of people have, and to like build and like make have new experiences, and just being able to like be with people who are having the same mindset as you and someone you can work together with and like have mentors, I think is something a lot of Gen Zs don't have. And I think that volunteering and like that could help them.
Mm-hmm. You said something that's really important. I want to touch on that. Mentors. That is so important to have mentors in your life, because they could help you avoid a lot of mistakes, and they actually can also introduce you to people that could help you with your career, that could help you with your schooling, get into the school that you need to get into. So it's very important to have a mentor, and especially it doesn't stop ever, because I have a mentor, and my mentors have helped me, whereas like if I received a job offer, to look at that and suggest that I negotiate for more money, or if I have a problem at work, someone to guide you, because they've already been there. So don't ever stop having a mentor, even in your adult life, in your career, because they could advocate for you when you're not in a room. If somebody's saying, well, who are we going to promote first? They could say, well, Jasmine or Kule, because I know them, I know their work ethic. So it's always important to have a mentor outside of your family who's doing what you aspire to do. That's very important, because sometimes we don't always have the examples at home or in our family or in our friend base, but other people could really guide you and help you a lot. So how did you find out about this volunteer opportunity at Santé Plus Medical Center and AHVED?
Our cousin actually works at the Best Insurance Florida Blue, and she was like, our mom was like saying that like our cousin knew that like we could volunteer at the Santé Plus and stuff. So Cindy, like I'm pretty sure she talked to you about seeing if we could volunteer, and that's how it started. Yeah.
I remember sharing the story at the radio station. I was in a meeting with leadership team at Santé Plus, and Cindy came in the room and she mentioned you too. And I was like, I don't have the time. And I was like, oh. And but then you guys showed up, and I was like, we're going to make it work. And it actually turned out to be a blessing, because you guys were able to help me with some of the things to help me get my job done, which I could focus on other things, which is really great. But today, unfortunately, I'm so sad, is your last day. Like, how is that possible? Like, how long have we been doing this? It's been, what, like a month? Has it been like a month?
It feels like months. But like, on our fourth day when we were signing the paper, we were just like, where's the rest of the days? I feel like we've been here for like months or forever.
Wow. That's really cool. That's really cool because when I was working at a particular organization, I probably had about 20 volunteers, but it was a medical clinic that I was a director of. It was an eye clinic. It wasn't a medical clinic. And I had about 20 volunteers and 2 staff persons, but I never really, because everyone had their job where they were, prepping the patient to see the eye doctor. So I never really had, I did have some FGCU students, but it was like special projects and not really in depth of what you guys are doing. Because like you said, Jasmine, you've been doing PowerPoint presentations, working with business plan. I made a comment the other day that do you guys realize you guys working on really high level stuff that people get paid for in businesses every day? So you should be very proud of yourselves that you produce high level work, because that's one thing, asking someone to do something, and it's another thing how the product turns out. So fortunately for me, the product has turned out very nice, and I'm like, wow, this is really great quality work. So I told you guys, like I said last week, make sure you put this experience on your resume, because you got to do PowerPoint, you can work with Word documents, and so you produce really great work. So before we wrap up, will you guys ever volunteer again, say next summer or during your spring break? Would you guys have plans to do?
I do plan to volunteer again. Most definitely. I'll make the time.
You'll make the time.
Because she's leaving for college and she graduates.
Yeah.
So.
This is your senior year, Jasmine? This is it?
Yeah.
So you graduate next summer, right?
Yeah. I still have a couple more years, so I'll definitely volunteer over the next few summers.
That's cool. Very cool. Very cool. So before we wrap up, I want to thank you for your service to our community, for giving of yourself and going above and beyond, even when the work wasn't fun, especially those phone calls. Those phone calls. And it's really difficult, because basically you were cold calling. You're calling someone that you don't know and they don't know you, and everyone's suspicious about something being a fraud, right?
Yeah.
So having the courage to do that, you don't even understand how much you grow just from doing that. So thank you. So guys, here we are with 2 Gen Zs right here in the beautiful Southwest Florida, making a difference in our community by giving back and volunteering. I hope you learned something from this. Most importantly, to point out what they're looking for. We have to do a better job of raising awareness about how great and how fun it can be volunteering. But if you do reach out to volunteers, make sure you have something for them to do. Make sure you're well organized and they're just not sitting around. Make sure the work that you're asking them to do makes an impact and they could see the fruits of their labor. So this is Tamika Peters. I'm signing off, and stay tuned for more Grow Your Nonprofit podcast episodes.